Hey everybody, welcome back to Rusty Wrench Restorations. I'm Steve, and today, well, I guess as you can tell by the thumbnail, we're revealing the newest project to the channel. It's a 1945 International Harvester TD-6 crawler. Now this has been a bucket list tractor for me for a few years now. You know, just where I live in Virginia, they're not very common. They're hard to find for sale, and if you do find them, they're usually not in the best condition. So I did have to drive a little bit for this. I had to go up last weekend to Pennsylvania. That's where this one was located, thanks to my good friend Keith, his son Levi, their friend Warren, and ultimately Paul, who was the owner of this. Now, Keith, I've known for several years through the internet, and was finally able to meet him and his son Levi in person for the first time. And they worked with Warren and Paul, who are classified as horse and buggy Mennonite. So Warren has a telephone because you know, he has a business where he fixes old farm equipment and everything. And Paul actually has a phone as well. But a lot of the other guys that I was dealing with up there didn't have phones. So Keith played a vital role in helping me try to locate one of these. We had looked at a T4, which is the gas version, a little bit smaller. Ultimately, that family didn't want to sell. There was another TD-6. Actually, I think it was a T6 that was also the gas version, that the engine was pulled from it. And they had a spare engine, which was from a Farmall M, which is very similar. But there were a lot of clutch components that were questionable as to whether or not all the parts and pieces were there. So now that you have that whole long backstory, you'll know that I've been working with these guys for months trying to find one of these crawlers, and this one popped up. So Paul bought it from, I don't know as though it was the original owner, but someone who had the crawler in their family for a long time, and they used it. It was actually a working machine until they got to the point where they didn't need it anymore. So they drove it into a barn. They drained out all the diesel fuel and all the gas, so hopefully that saved us with the tanks. And it sat for many years. Exactly how many, no one is sure, but it did sit for a while. So with that being said, like I said, they drained the fluid, so that helped in regards to hopefully the condition of the tanks. The radiator is empty, they didn't want it to freeze, so hopefully that will still hold fluids. The engine does turn over freely. It's got a spot here in the front for a hand crank, which I have at home. So the engine does turn, and you can see by the positioning of these steering clutch handles, the one on the right for the right side does work and has some spring tension, but the one on the left is all the way back at the seat. It just kind of free moves, so the left hand steering clutch is stuck. The one thing that's nice about these, and I say that now because I haven't worked on it yet, but once I dig into this I'm probably going to curse it. Steering clutches are a little bit different than what I have been dealing with the John Deeres. The John Deeres, you gotta split the tracks, you gotta pull the final drives off to get to the steering clutches. These ones are a little different. You can pull this tank and seat and fender assembly off, and there's a big panel on top, and when you lift it you can see both steering clutches at the same time. So you know, some disconnections, some kind of tight places to reach in to get to, at least from what I've seen online, but for the most part fairly straightforward way of changing steering clutches. So hopefully, you know, the goal is obviously we want to try to get it running first. I want to make sure it runs and drives at least forward and backwards. And then if we're good there, then we'll go ahead and we'll pull the steering clutch out, replace that. And I just basically want to make sure it's a good running, driving, operating machine before I start tearing it down to rebuild. But the intent of this is that it is in fact going to get a complete restoration. You can see here on the hood, they got the International decal. And then above it on the red part, you can see where it also said International. So it's got a couple different colors of red on here. So it's not original by any means, it's been painted. Now some of these parts back here where it says, you know, the strap's in the way, International diesel, and it's got the TD-6, that very well could be original. And it's not gonna show up too well here. I think if I got it wet so you could see it, it has the tractor decal across the back, and that was typically used more on the older, the 1020s, and I think it was a 1530. But I looked it up, and the TD-6 through the mid 40s also had the tractor decal on there. This is a 1945, so from what the internet tells me anyway, that is a correct decal for it. It does have a PTO, it's got the drawbar, and I'm trying to think, I think that's about it. I mean, everything else is pretty complete on it. Like I said, it's not perfect undercarriage, it's decent, it's good for what I'm gonna do with it. So anyway, now that I've yacked about that, I'm gonna do a video eventually where we kind of go over this whole thing, because it's got a lot of really neat characteristics. It's a inline 4-cylinder engine that starts on gasoline. Once it warms up and gets the temperature, then you shift it to diesel. You run it on diesel for, you know, whenever you're operating the machine. And then when you're done for the day, you switch it back to gas. It helps cool down the head for the decompression valves and everything, and prevents cracking and whatnot, so you shut it off on gas again. But it doesn't have a pony motor, it's all on one engine. So if you see on this side of the engine here, we've got the, well, obviously the generator, you've got the rotor and spark plug wires, spark plugs, the carburetor. And then I'll run over here real quick. Sorry for all the background noise. I'm at my storage unit and there's an airport right here. And then on this side, you've got the diesel side, the fuel filters, injection pump, all the injectors. And then this is also the sediment bowl and the small fuel tank for the gas portion of it. This is a narrow gauge tractor, meaning that the tracks are basically right up to the frame. The wide gauge have like kind of a section in there about 8 to 10 inches for the final drives. Makes it out a little bit wider. So the narrow gauge is a little bit more rare. This is also the low seat version. So the seat is lower and the battery goes underneath this cover here. Some of the regular standard size, the seat sits up a lot higher. I'll try to add a picture here if I think of it. And the battery is underneath the seat. So this one's a little bit, I guess, rarer. There's going to be a jet flying over, so sorry about the noise. I'll give you a view of the tractor for a minute. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm gonna end up doing another video. Probably you'll see it next week. Kind of going over it, what it is, what everything is, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. But today's video, I'm just gonna skip to my trip up to Pennsylvania, us loading this thing in the rain, and driving back home. And then, yeah, I've left it here at storage just because we've had a lot of rain down here as well. My yard's been a mess, and trying to get this 7,200 plus pound machine moved from my trailer to my side yard, it's not going to be the easiest thing, that's for sure. It does roll easy. The track tension's been taken off, so it does turn fine. But my buddy Brian's going to come tomorrow for me to help me move this to the side of my house with he's got a larger Kubota. You've seen it in other videos, so that may or may not be in this video. It might be in the next one, I don't know. But anyway, that's where we're at. We got the tractor. You're about to see us going to pick it up, probably unloading it, and then, like I said, in another video, it'll be us going through, or me going through, just kind of explaining characteristics, options, what it does, what it looks like, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, like I said, it's been not necessarily a TD-6, but a red International Harvester agricultural crawler. I've wanted to restore one for a long time. I think it's really going to pop when this thing's bright red with all the black accents and white decals. It's going to look really sharp. So looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get it done. My goal is to have it done by the fall time so that I can take it to the Bonnie Bright Plow Day and have it on display and whatnot. So anyway, that's where we're at. So I'm going to leave you here. Let's skip to the video of me picking it up in Pennsylvania. 5-hour ride up, 5-hour ride back. All right, so we're going to try to load this thing on my trailer going downhill. I don't think this is really the best idea. Alright, I talked this guy off the ledge because he wanted to load this thing going downhill on wet gravel on steel ramps and wet wood of my trailer with steel tracked crawler and steel wheels on a skid steer. To me, that sounds like nothing but a problem. Alright, I'm gonna go get this on level ground. Alright, we're gonna try this again. See how much his tires are spinning just in the mud? Good Lord, there's no way that thing would have stopped this thing from rolling down that hill onto my trailer. That's a cool little crawler though. I think the tires in that skid steer might spin. Oh, it's getting it. Look at that. Yeah, it's popping up. There we go. Hold on there, hold on. There we go. That'll work. If we can get it forward about a foot, then I can flip the ramps and we can push it more. I think if you can move it up like maybe another foot, then I can flip these ramps and then you'll be able to just push it, you know, a little bit further. There you go. There you go, you got that there. Yep.
Oh, wait a minute.
Maybe try over here because we need to get it to the right a little anyway. Oh, there you go. All right, I can flip my ramps up now. He's a good skid steer operator, I'll give him that. I think that'll do it. That'll work, perfect. Oh man, what did I get myself into with these things? It's a little off to the side. I might be able to get that with the come along. All right. As you can see, it's raining. Let me get this thing strapped down and I'll get back to you. All right, well, there she is, all loaded down. International TD-6, narrow gauge, ready to go. So Paul has a shop over here and he's got another one that he's been restoring, so we're gonna go check that out. Yeah, it's 1840 with the steel. That's pretty cool. All right, let's check out this other TD he's got in here.
I was thinking yours are hollow in here, but they're not. I don't think yours are hollow there.
Yeah, I didn't realize that that's how big those springs were. I saw the covers.
Yeah, there's quite a
pretty beefy. Yeah, so this whole plate will come off and it'll just expose both the clutches. And this is where the steering lever is attached, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this clock is in the dash. That's
nice.
gave us how many hours did that on when it quit. It don't. I tried to hook it up to the back.
It doesn't work, huh? That's pretty neat.
I'm just, and that's pretty late.
Yeah. I can't imagine there's many of those left, the clocks, you know.
Well,
was that an option or was it on all of them?
No, this was the engine now. No, I would like to paint it. And if this is this far apart, now I don't know If I stick it together like this, I probably have to slide this spring from that I can tilt it in here. I got an A-frame up over there.
So it's a 2019 Tractor Supply calendar.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can find one of those. All right, well that's gonna do it here at Paul's. Got everything loaded up. I gotta swing by and see my buddy Keith real quick. He's been helping me out. You know, it's 5 hours away, so he came and looked at it and sent me photos and kind of really helped me out. So I'm gonna go meet up with him. I gotta give him some parts and then I got a 5-hour ride back home. I just wanted to do a quick little behind the scenes video here real fast. Last week when I did the Bobcat reveal and I was out here in my front yard filming all around the tractor as it's set right here, I was trying to be careful not to have that in the background and spoil the surprise. Gotcha. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for today's video. So there she is, International TD-6 1945 bucket list resto, about to go down. I'm so excited for it. Hopefully you are too. If you're new to the channel, maybe, I'm gonna try to tag some people with international pages and whatnot, so hopefully you'll follow along. If you got any information or tips or tricks, be sure to add it below. That'd be great. This is completely new for me. I've done a lot of crawlers. They've all been John Deere. This will be my first international, so looking forward to the challenge. So anyway, thanks for your support. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.